This is our PowerPoint on the cochlear implant. We are going to discuss the background as well as the current regulations and requirements of the device. We are also going to go over the components of these devices and how they work. We're going to check out some advantages and some disadvantages, and lastly, the opinions of the deaf community.
The idea of cochlear implants were formed in the 1800s. The idea behind them is to stimulate the auditory nerve directly with electrical energy instead of transforming acoustical energy to mechanical energy to hydraulic energy and finally to electrical energy. Throughout the years, people have been exploring this idea. Finally, in the 1972, the first singular channel implant was created. Cochlear implants became more available in the middle of the 1980s. They were recommended for adults after they had learned speech and became deaf, and for adults who have a hearing loss greater than 100 decibels. Today, there are different requirements and stipulations to cochlear implants. Children as young as 12 months or 1 year can be implanted, but only if they have profound hearing loss. Children years 2 and up have to have severe to profound hearing loss. And finally, adults have to take a word and sentence recognition test, and a team of professionals determines everyone's eligibility for the implantation. Cochlear implants have many different parts to them. On the outside, seeable portion, there is the microphone, speech processor, and transmitter. Under the skin and through the cochlea lies the internal portions, including the receiver and electrode array. These parts are magnetized together with the skin in the middle. The sound is taken in with a microphone. The sound is processed in the speech processor. Here it is made into a code to be passed on. The external portions can be seen as a round box behind the ear, a little above the outer ear. The message is passed to the transmitter and receiver, which exchanges the code from the outside of the body to the inside of the head, where it is converted to electrical signals. The signal is sent down the electrode array, which is wound through the cochlea and delivered directly to the auditory nerve. Since the electrical erode is wound through the cochlear hairs are flattened and normal hearing is no longer possible. The surgery is irreversible and the hearing will be fully deafened.
On this slide, we're going to talk about the advantages and the disadvantages of cochlear implants. First up, the advantages. The first one I have listed here is improved speech development, speech clarity, and spoken language skills. Although somebody with the cochlear implant may still read lips, the implant has been proven to enhance communication. The next point is better learning opportunities, therefore career opportunities. Being able to hear in the classroom improves learning abilities because there's just not that setback of not being able to hear anymore. The next one is it makes it easier to hear important sounds that may even warrant danger. So this is especially important for everybody because we need to hear those alarms and footsteps and whatnot, so it's very important. Another good thing is the low complication rates with the internal components. So basically the odds of something going wrong with an internal component of the device is very low. And the next point, if problems do arise within the first 10 years, there's a manufacturer's warranty that will cover the cost for you. And for the disadvantages of the cochlear implant, the surgery itself risks damage to the facial nerve and tympanic nerve, which pass through the middle ear space. Also, something to keep in mind is that patients may experience reduced balance after the surgery, among other things. A big one is that post-surgery implant recipients cannot undergo certain medical procedures for the rest of their lives. So procedures like electroconvulsive therapy, ionized radiation therapy, MRI testing, and just things among on that level. And also parents are encouraged to get the pneumococcal vaccine for their children because they're more prone to the virus. The speech processor, which is a piece in the cochlear implant, is sensitive to electricity. So, in order to keep it from getting potentially damaged, it's to be removed if, say, children play in ball pits or they're going to be sliding down plastic slides, just kind of protecting it. You have to protect them from static. Another sensitivity is water. So, if the speech processor, the same piece, is not a waterproof model, it has to be removed during activities where it could potentially get wet. All right, and on this next slide, I'm going to let you hear what the world sounds like to somebody with a cochlear implant.
Here's what tones of varying frequency sound like to our patient. First, you will hear the sound input to the implant, and then you will hear what it sounded like. We then turn to speech. Here's what speech sounds like through the implant. Again, first the input to the implant, and then its match.
It was a full moon 3 nights ago.
It was a full moon 3 nights ago.
Don't live beyond your means.
Don't live beyond your means.
That was an unexpected outcome.
That was an unexpected outcome.
As you can see, hearing anything is better than hearing nothing, but cochlear implants have far to come.
In recent years, the use of cochlear implants have become more prevalent. With a greater usage of cochlear implants, a greater opinion has been conjured within the deaf community. Consider this. As a hearing person, do you see deafness as a disability? Deaf individuals tend to see their deafness as a part of who they are rather than a disability. Deaf people, as a group, consider themselves to be a minority culture that is rarely passed down by generations due to deaf children being born to hearing parents. Deaf culture must be introduced to such a child by someone who is already a part of deaf culture. When hearing parents provide their deaf children with a cochlear implant, those children may never learn to sign, and this would keep them from being a part of deaf culture. As more cochlear implants are used on deaf children, less and less children will learn to sign, which poses as a threat to the future of deaf culture. Many deaf individuals have an opposing opinion against the usage of cochlear implants so that deaf culture will have a future and will not die off. In conclusion, cochlear implants have been a substantial advancement in medical science and have improved vastly since 1984 when the first multi-channel was produced. Cochlear implants can enhance communication and improve speech, but can cause nerve damage, prevent the ability to receive certain medical treatments, and have the possibility to be damaged. Deaf individuals have a negative opinion towards cochlear implants as they could possibly end deaf culture.